finish it Friday. I'm stitching it my way. Just wanna be sitting with needles and knitting. Hello, hello, y'all. That's right. We made it to another Finish It Friday. That's right. So say hello in the comments section. Let me know where you're watching from and what's your latest your finished object. Let me know what it is that we're doing together. What's on your needles? What's on your hooks? Are we crafting right now? Are we knitting? Are we crocheting? Are we washing the dishes? Y'all, if you got a finished project, a finished craft, that's great. But you know what? Some days our finished object is the clean frying pan, right? That's got all the burn bits on it after dinner that you've been scrubbing and scrubbing. And you know what? We have to give ourselves credit for those things too, okay? So don't worry. I know I have days when I feel like I got nothing done in the crafting department. Some days I think, I wonder if I'm going to have an FO this week, right? There might not be a Finish It Friday, and that's okay. I've come to terms with that. It's okay. So, remember when the Knit Picks and We Crochet came out with their brand new yarn, the Brava Baby DK. If you are familiar, well, if you're on my channel, if you're a returning viewer, you're probably familiar with the Knit Picks. I can't even find it, y'all. I'm doing this in the daytime, and y'all know it if you're a returning viewer. I really struggle in the daytime. I don't really see much, so trying to find my yarn in my mountain of yarn here, right? And this is mini mountain of yarn. The stash is like big mountain of yarn. So anyways, a few months ago, Knit Picks and We Crochet came out with a brand new line of yarn. And of course, it's not really new. It's Brava, right? Which is their 100% machine wash and dry easy care acrylic. But they've had Brava Worsted, Brava Bulky, Brava Sport, and they decided why not bring us a Brava Baby DK. Well, you know I love to do my baby blankets, and you'd think I would have thought, right? Like, get some for baby blankets. And of course I did during the Labor Day sale. But when it first went on sale, I was already thinking like, ooh, I should get some orange or something for Halloween projects or fall projects. So you know when you saw me do that unboxing, you know it. I said I got my black and my gray and my orange, and I'm like, let's make us some orange and black knit socks. Yeah, check them out. If you are if you're a returning viewer, you know who I am and why I'm going to describe them. But if you are new to my channel, hi, my name's May. I love yarn. I love to knit and crochet. Those are my hobbies. And I also happen to have been born visually impaired, legally blind, and completely colorblind. And so I mostly knit and crochet by feel. And so I do try to describe things on my channel for other people who are visually impaired. So I knit socks here, and they are orange and they are black striped, and they go all the way up. These are like over the knee socks. I thought these could be great if indeed you're going like trick or treating. Maybe you're taking the kids out, you know, going around town, going to a party, whatever. Be super fun to just be able to wear like I have on. If you want to dress up, dress up. I don't care. We actually don't really celebrate Halloween that much. I didn't grow up celebrating Halloween. But when I was in graduate school, I definitely made the rounds of the Halloween parties in my 20s, okay? And it can be cold and it can be chilly, and it's nice to have a nice thick pair of socks to put on, right? Under, even if you're not dressed up, if you're just wearing like I am today, a black dress with some, lacy sleeves or whatever, it's nice to have some nice, big, thick, warm socks that go all the way over and cover your legs. So I knit these up thinking they could be great for a costume, right? Or they could just be great for a black dress. They could be for Halloween, but I think you could really wear black and orange socks all fall, right? I mean, September, October, November, I think these socks could be good for all fall. Even into November, I think black and orange are great fall combo colors. So I did knit these toe up, starting at the bottom. They normally recommend a US size 4 knitting needles for these are no, it's 5 to 7. It's a DK, it's a DK weight yarn. So they normally recommend a US size 5 to 7 knitting needle, which is a 3.75 to a 4.5 milli. I did go down to a size 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter needle. Started at the toe. I did, I think, what most people call Judy's Magic cast on, which, you know, I think I do it right, but I learned listening to the internet and I can't see what's happening on the video, so not totally sure I'm doing it like everybody else, but I'm doing it, or some version of it. But just know, if you struggle with Judy's Magic cast on or some version of it, it's okay. I struggled with it for years and years and years. I would just totally improvise and do other things for my toe cast-ons, okay? So if it takes you a long time to get it, don't worry, you're not alone. But I do think I finally have it now. So I do get a nice seamless toe. That's what's nice about it, is there's no toe seam at all. It's completely, there's just nothing until you get to your increases. So I cast on with that. I had 8 stitches. I work it on 2 circular needles. That's what I do. If you want to work your socks, of course, on any other way, you do you, right? If you like to do your socks double points, 4 double points, or whatever, you go right ahead, or magic loop, or all that kind of stuff. I'm not very good at magic loop or double points. I'm just going to be honest with you about that. So I use the 2 circular needles I cast on, so that I had 8 stitches on my first and both needles, right? Needle 1, needle 2. That's what I call it. My front needle, needle 1, my back needle with my heel, needle 2. So I cast on so that I had 8 on the front, 8 on the back. I work my way around. I knit that first row completely at the toe, and then row 2 becomes my increase row. So I do an increase in my very first stitch, right? And I happen to really like knit one through the front and the back. But of course, you do whatever increase you like. That's what I always say on this channel. You do you, right? You find what works for you. And then we knit to the very last stitch, and in the last stitch we do the same thing, right? We want to keep our toes symmetrical, so we increase in the front and the back on that last stitch, and then we flip it over to the back needle and we do the exact same thing. Increase, knit through the front and the back, work across to the last stitch, knit through the front and the back. And those are the 2 rows that we work out for our increases on our toe. And then, so that gives us 10 stitches on each needle. We repeat that, so we knit straight across for the 3rd round. The 4th round we increase to 12, and I went ahead and increased mine to 20 stitches on each needle. And I'll say to you, just, you know, socks toe up are super nice because you can just try them on as you're working, right? I mean, you just stick them on your foot. You're like, nope, not quite. Nope, not quite, right? So I definitely started these out with, I think, 24 stitches, and I was like, that's way too big, right? And so I just kept changing it up, working it out. Not a big deal. So once I did that, then I switched over to the orange. So if you're brand new, like if you've never done any kind of color work or stranded work in knitting, something like this with just simple stripes is a really, really great introduction, okay? Because I would say if you're going to try color work knitting, just try something like this so that you're only juggling 2 colors at a time, right? And if you're like me and you're colorblind, I'm probably never going to do complex color work projects because I can still see the difference in the black and the orange, right? But I don't think it would definitely get challenging for me to manage a lot of colors. I did crochet the blanket behind me. We'll talk about that in another video, how I managed that, okay? How I managed 6 colors in a color work blanket. Yeah, because it challenged me without a doubt, but I did it. But I think for knitting, this is a great introduction to color work. If you're brand new, just do some simple stripes. Once you get past the toe, it's just, you know, once I got past the toe, that's when I changed colors. And then there's just the 1 color change, right? And then I just knit 8 rows straight, no increases, nothing different. And then I switched back to my black. So for me, I am a women's size 7.5 to an 8 in there, depending on the shoes, depending on the brand, right? Depending on time of year and if I'm wearing big socks or not, or, you know, all those different things, right? Like some shoes that I want to wear, like my boots, I want to wear some big thick socks, and you might need an 8, right? So for feet of my size, I went ahead after my toe increase and I did 8 in orange, 8 in black, 8 in orange, 8 in black. And then I started my heel increases. And then I just worked my heel increases exactly as I did on my toe, right? That knit went through the front and the back. And you only work, if you're brand new to sock knitting, you only work heel increases on the back side of your sock, right? Only on the heel, and you maintain your 20 stitches on the front. And I use the same, I have a tutorial on my channel called Heel for Toe Up Socks, and I used that method, but of course I wasn't using that number of stitches. Okay, that sock is knit with 56 stitches all the way around. This sock is worked with 40, so the math is definitely different. The reason I didn't teach it this time is because I didn't quite have it worked out, right? This was my own design. I didn't have the math fully worked out. I don't think I have it perfect yet. I need to tinker with it some more. If I do, we could definitely knit ourselves up a pair of striped DK weight socks. But that is the method that I use. If you're familiar with it, if you're comfortable doing your heel calculations, by all means, you figure out what works for you. I've almost got it worked out. So you feel free to do your math on that. And so I ended up increasing, I think I increased by 12 stitches. I think that's what I did. So I worked up to 32 stitches, then did my decreases the same way I do in that. It's called Heel for Toe Up Socks, no short rows, no pick up and knit, where you knit and then you do your slip knit and you turn and you work back across and you purl, and then you purl two together. And that's the same method, just different numbers, different math, okay, is in that video, until I got back down to having 20 stitches on the back. Then I rejoined up with my front and then worked it up so that we did 7 more stripes, right? We did 7 more stripes. We started, well, we finished our black stripe because we were working our heel in black, and then went to orange, black, orange, black, orange, black, orange. And then because I decided I did want these to be like, you know, over the knee type socks that you could wear outside or at a big party or something in Halloween or in the fall. I know what it's like to stand around in the cold in a little dress at a Halloween party. It's chilly. So it's nice to have some big thick socks. So then I went ahead, I thought if I want these to be over the knee, I'm going to work another increase because, you know, I don't know about you, but my legs get a little bit bigger, right? They do. That's just how I'm built, and probably most of you are too, right? Our legs just get a little meatier, a little chunkier, get more meat on them. So I went ahead and added some increases. Worked that up, so I had 22 stitches on each needle, did my 8 rows of that color, then went to switch to the orange, and then increased to 24. So we had 24 stitches on each needle, and after that, after the 24, we kept our stitch count even, right? And so after that, let's see, let's put these on. I don't know if you can see them or not, honestly. I don't know if you can see them or not, but I wanted them, I did put on my bicycle shorts for sure, for sure. But after that, I wanted them to be like, you know, full length socks. So they definitely fit over the top. I wasn't sure. I always like to put, when I do over the knee socks, that I'm expecting them to stay up, right, all night, where you're walking around, where you're hanging out, where you're mingling, where you're walking with the kids, whatever. I go ahead at the top, I put in some eyelets because I wasn't sure how well they'd stay up. And then I also put in some ribbing. So I switched over to my knit 2, purl 2 ribbing. We did 4 rows of that. Then I put in an eyelet round at the top. And then I went back and did more knit 2, purl 2 ribbing and created just like I do on waistbands. I have a whole video on my channel because I do a lot of skirts. I have a video that will teach you how to knit your waistband, where you can actually create a tactile turning row, because as somebody who's visually impaired, I cannot sew or hem that waistband straight. I've got to have something tactile. I've got to have a fold. So I use that exact same method that I do on my waistbands, and I did a folding row, a turning row, after I did so many rows of the ribbing. And then I went back and did, I'm trying to think how many rows. I think I did 8. I did 8 rows of the knit 2, purl 2. After, okay, I did the eyelets. I think I did 2 more rows, and then I did 8 more rows of, so a total of 16 rows of ribbing before the turning row, did the turning row, and then did 8 more rows of the knit 2, purl 2, and then did my bind off, and then I used 1/2 inch elastic. Usually in my waistbands, I do 3/4 inch or 1 inch in these. I just did 1/2 inch because I got a huge roll of 1/2 inch elastic. I do, and I think for socks that's perfectly fine. Sewed that in, so that's what that looks like. If you're wanting to see, it does, when you do color work, you're going to get a little bit, no matter what you do, you are going to get a little bit of a little seam in there, right, of your color change. So that's what it looks like if you're wanting to know what it's like on the inside. Yes, there is just a little bit of a color seam there. So you will feel it, at least I do. I feel it. It's not like itchy or uncomfortable, but you do feel it, at least I do. So you will feel that little color work seam there, but I don't think it's a big deal, really. And so after that, I sewed in that elastic, and I have a nice big over the knee sock that will totally defy gravity, stay up. And I did put the eyelets in just in case, because this is acrylic. It's a 100% acrylic sock. And so the reason I put the eyelets in is, so far these are doing great with the elastic. They're stretching, they're holding up, but I don't know over time if the acrylic is going to get stretched out or if the elastic is going to get stretched out. I have no idea, right? This is my very first pair of socks with this yarn. And so a lot of times when I do socks like this and I don't know how they're going to hold up over time, I will put that eyelet row in. So you can put a tie in there. So I didn't do it yet. I don't know if it's going to be necessary. But so you don't have to put the eyelet row in. If you don't want the eyelet row in case you might want ties in it, then don't bother. You can completely omit the eyelet row. I just don't know how these are going to hold up over time, if the yarn's going to stretch too much, if the elastic's going to stretch too much. So I put an eyelet row in so that over time, if these stretch out, then you can get some store-bought ribbon. Like, you don't even have to make your own ribbon if you don't want to. You can get store-bought ribbon in any color that you want, right? Black, white, orange, pink, whatever, and just run it through those eyelets and help tie up and cinch up those stockings if they're not staying up on you. The other thing, of course, if you knit, you can do I-cord, right? Or you can do some type of real nice fancy little lace trim cord that's maybe like 10, 12 stitches wide, and then bend it in half and then weave it in and out of there. Or you could even just do like a crochet chain and then crochet into the back bump, right, and go back down and make yourself a nice little tie for that. There's multiple ways that you could run a tie through these if they're not defying gravity for you, right? If over time they get stretched out, they get a little saggy, and they're not working out for you, then that's why I put the eyelet row in there. But like I said, it's definitely optional. So anyways, that's the FO for the week. Let me know your thoughts on these socks, because I know as soon as I bought the yarn, when I was talking about it, I was like, I think we need some socks, right? Some big old long socks, and I definitely did it. I am thinking about reworking these. So the cool thing about these is I did it for black and orange, just kind of for something fun, for something autumnal, for something Halloweeny, right? Because it's October. We got to think Halloween. We got to think fall. We got to think fall colors. So, but the neat thing about this type of sock is I'm thinking about redoing them in red and white for Christmas, right, we can do red and white. So I'm thinking about doing them in maybe the swish DK and the wool and the white and the holly berry for Christmas and swish DK, or the Brava baby DK comes in a red and it comes in a darker maroon. So we got options, right? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Should we do another pair of socks in these in the Brava baby in white and red, white and maroon, or should we work them up in the swish DK in the holly berry? I'm leaning towards the swish DK and the holly berry. Supposedly the 2 yards are both DK. Supposedly they're, same gauge, same knit gauge, all that. So they should be, in my opinion, they should be fairly interchangeable. But you know what? It's acrylic, it's wool. I tend to think that most things, as long as you match the gauge and the weight up, you're usually okay to interchange between wool and acrylics. But I guess we could find out. So let me know your thoughts on that. If you think we should make up another pair of these for the holidays in white and holly berry and swish wool, or white and red and the baby DK, or white and maroon. And then the other thing that I wanted to add about these too is they don't just have to be for like Halloween and Christmas colors, right? You can make yours in any striped color that you want. So say you want yours for your school colors, right? Because you want to wear them out to the game or something. It's October now. People are going to all the games, right? The sports are back in, the football's in, the hockey. Who's a hockey fan? Yeah, who's watching college hockey? Yeah, me. I'm a hockey fan. So my school colors of the college that I graduated from undergrad happen to be white and red, and I think it's that darker maroon red. I'm pretty sure it's a darker maroonish to the holly berry. So I'm tending to lean towards the swish and the white and holly berry, or the DK in the baby Brava DK and the white and maroon. I'm tending to think their color is the darker maroon red. So if I did that, I would have a nice versatile pair of socks, right? To wear my school colors for my college, for hockey. I actually just watch their hockey games on YouTube. I don't go to the games in person, but I do watch them on YouTube. So, but if you are somebody who goes to the school games, right? Either you're playing, or your partner's playing, or your kids are playing, or your baby, whoever, or you just like to go and support your team, right? I've been out of college for over 20 years, but I think it's cool to still support my team. I love my school hockey team. You could definitely make these in the stripes of your school. So mine happens to be, I think, white and maroon. So that's going to work great for my hockey. I'll be able to wear them in October, November, December, January, February, well past Christmas. I'll be able to wear them for Christmas and December, but I'll also be able to wear them in January and February, be sporting my school colors. And hey, once you get into February, the red's still in for Valentine's Day. So I kind of like the idea of the white and the red, but I'll definitely have fun rocking my black and orange socks for October. Alrighty, that is them, my friends. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you're interested in making them. Let me know what colors you want to make yours in. And if you want me to work that math out better for the heel, we can actually work out those numbers. I don't know if that's going to be in October. Probably. I'd love to say that I can do it in October. Realistically, well, I'm taking on some big projects, right? The blanket. Yeah, the blanket. But it is cruising along faster than I thought it would. So I am happy about that. But my little brain is, churning away with projects much faster than my hands can create. So we'll see. But yeah, overall, I'm happy with these. Not perfect. Like I said, my math is not perfect on my heel. That's got a little work to be worked out. But that's it, my friends. So say hello in the comment section. Let me know what you think of the socks. Let me know what colors you would want to use. Let me know if we should try out the wool. And of course, let me know what your weekend plans are, right? Are you doing some traveling? Or are you back into like your school routine with kids? Or just like into fall and, staying home? So let me know how you're doing and what you're up to. And I am just wishing you the very best weekend. You want me to put these on, and maybe we'll pause the camera, trying to do this in the daylight so you can see the orange better. But it definitely is more challenging for me. But how about if we pause the camera and we go out to the living room and you can actually see the socks on me? How about that? Alrighty, let's do that. Let's take a spin in our new Halloween socks. Okay, our new autumn socks, right? Not just for Halloween, they're autumn socks. Okay, hang on. Okay, well, I really hope that I have the camera at an angle that you can see the socks. This is what they look like, right? They're striped. I think they'd be great with a black dress or a Halloween costume, or like I said, your autumn colors, right? You could do them with, I don't really know, as somebody who's colorblind, I don't really know what orange goes with besides black and gray, right? I'll be honest with you. Orange is a really tricky color for me. I can't really even wear it well, so I'm not sure what to match it with totally, but I think they're fun. I think they're warm, and I hope that you like them and make yourself some fun striped socks too. Alrighty, my friends, well, you know what we have to say at the end, right? Creativity is for everybody, whether you see or you see like me, which is not in color, or you don't see at all. Creativity is for you. And whether it's knitting or crocheting or sewing or quilting or beading or sculpting or painting or weaving or carving or whatever it is that you do, today is a great day to craft and create. Well, thanks so much for listening. Until next time,